Yellowstone National Park is a national park located primarily in the U.S. state of Wyoming, although it also extends into Montana and Idaho. Established by the U.S. Congress and signed into law by President Ulysses S. Grant on March 1st of 1872, Yellowstone is thought to be the first national park in the U.S. and widely held to be the first national park in the world. It is known for many wildlife and geothermal features, especially Oak-Faithful Geyser, one of the most famous features in the park. It's made up of ecosystems, but the silk pine forest is the most abundant. It is part of the South Central Rockies forest ecoregion. Native Americans had lived in the Yellowstone region for about 11,000 years. Aside from visits by mountain men during the early to mid-19th century, organized exploration did not begin until the late 1860s. In 1970, the administration of the park was transferred to the National Park Service, which had been created the previous year. Hundreds of structures have been built to protect the architectural and historical significance, and the researchers have examined more than 1,000 archaeological sites. Hundreds of species of mammals, birds, fish, and reptiles have been documented, including several that are either endangered or threatened. The vast forests in Greenland include a unique species of plants. Yellowstone Park is one of the largest, most famous megafauna location in the continental United States. Grizzly bears, wolves, and free-ranging herds of bison and elk live in the park. Yellowstone has numerous recreational opportunities, including hiking, camping, boating, and fishing, and sightseeing. But that's not what this video is about. Yellowstone is a geological smoking gun that illustrates how violent Earth can be. It theorized that 640,000 years ago, an area many miles square, something the center of the park, suddenly exploded. The municipal landscape was devastated. Fast-moving ash covers thousands of square miles. At the center, the only smoldering cloud drought remained, a collapsed crater 45 by 30 miles, or at least two other cataclysmic events preceding this one. Boiling hot streams, fumaroles, mudspots, and geysers serve the remainder of yet another could occur. Yellowstone, however, is much more than a hot ground of gushing steam. It contains a high plateau surrounded by mountains and several peaks. As the West settled, however, Yellowstone's importance as a wildlife sanctuary grew. The list of park animals and compendium of the Rocky Mountain fauna: elk, bison, mule, deer, bighorn sheep, grizzly bears, black bears, wolves, moose, and so on. During the summer of 1988, fire touched many sections of the park. In some areas, dramatically changing the appearance of the landscape. Yet not one main feature was destroyed. The geysers, the waterfalls, the herds of wildlife still here. Many places show no impact at all. While these are regenerating benefit both the vegetation and animal life. But on to the main question of the video. Could Yellowstone National Park actually end all life on Earth? Well, rough estimates based on geological recordings indicate that there's a 1 in 10,000 chance of a super eruption at Yellowstone during our lifetime. However, given the erratic nature of volcanoes, that number doesn't mean much. Why would it erupt? Well, Yellowstone National Park sits on top of a massive magma chamber. This magma chamber, if applied enough pressure, could erupt, sending ground and earth in all directions and erupting in a massive mound of magma and a big amount of ash that would cover all areas around the park. Each of the past super eruptions of a volcano spewed more than 1,000 cubic kilometers of magma into the environment. The benchmark of a supervolcano, according to Jacob Lurston, the scientific in charge at Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, that's enough eruption to cover more than North America in an ash blanket of varying thickness. The ashes as thick as a near eruption source of a full fraction of a millimeter once you move 2,000 miles away. It's fair to say that a trace of ash would be found over most of the United States, though it would be thick enough to collapse roofs in the state closest to Yellowstone. Also, ash could be brought over by trade winds across to Ireland and other European cities, mainly moving towards above Greenland and to the right to islands above Ireland. This could result in it being very hard to breathe and also very dense ash covering you. Of course, there would be many European cities that would come to the aid of Ireland and the US. But could it end all life on Earth? Not necessarily. Presuming that all states near Yellowstone will be evacuated and all people will be given some form of cloths or gas masks to breathe through, not literally gas masks, we can presume that life would still live on. However, the areas around Yellowstone and some farmland near it, the crops and objects like it would be completely ruined. They could last about 10 days. Now, it is possible that if for those 10 days, unscheduled continuous rain hailed down from the skies, well, the areas around them would be fine and life would continue as normal. But there's a great possibility that famine, at least crop famine, would hit many areas in Central America and possibly some areas in the European coast. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.